Okay, do you guys see the Facebook thing? Okay. All right, so this was the first thing that was a huge mistake for me. And this was back in October of 2012, so I had already been a coach for well over a year. And my Facebook settings were very strict. At that time, Mike was still, very much in his law enforcement career. And so he wanted me to be very private and not share my profile. And, like I had these really strict Facebook settings. And so when I was talking to my sponsor about like, why am I not finding new people? How come, like I'm adding things, but people share my posts, but I don't ever get new requests, or, I was just having a hard time adding to my network. And he asked me about my privacy settings, and, I gave him my reasons, and I told him, well, because of law enforcement, Mike isn't really comfortable with me sharing about my life, sharing where I am, letting people know I'm on vacation, all these kinds of things, which, still is scary sometimes when you're advertising to the world every step of your day. But, the way that he made it make sense to me and Mike was that if this is my business and I want to run my business on Facebook, then I have to open my doors. I have to, take the bolts off the door and actually put my open sign up and let people come in. So for me, I was totally fine with that. For Mike, it took a lot of cleaning up on his profile before he went totally public. But I would tell you, take a look at your privacy settings. Facebook changes stuff all the time randomly, and you just want to make sure that people are able to find you. I know that when I meet people out and about, sometimes I tell them like, hey, find me on Facebook, or, you can look and see if we have mutual friends, those kind of things. But you can't do that if you've got your profile locked down. So I know some people do have legitimate reasons to keep their privacy settings, and they don't want to share pictures of your family and things like that. So I know some people have moved strictly to a Facebook page only, where you only share what you want to share, or other people have made completely new profiles. So that's up to you, but you do need to understand that if social media is going to be one of your main avenues of sharing your business, then you need to open the doors. So that was my first course correction. Okay, number 2, personal development journey. If you have heard me talk on previous calls before, personal development was something that I didn't like wholeheartedly commit to at once. Like, I dabbled a little bit here and there. I would listen. I was always really consistent with the team calls, but I wasn't really into reading books at the time. I was going to school for my master's degree, and just the thought of reading anything additional just wasn't happening. And so I never really made that commitment, but I would read things here and there. Then it was once I went to Summit in June of 2013, John Maxwell had just come out with his new book, The 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth. And I kind of made the connection of the difference between like reading personal development just to put a check next to a box versus having a personal development journey. So this screenshot here on the screen is actually my video. It's on YouTube. I did a whole series, doing a video review of like each one of the laws in the 15 Laws book. And like that was just kind of my start of having a journey, we talk to our challengers and our coaches about documenting your fitness journey, taking your before and after pictures. And a personal development journey is a little bit harder to grasp, like a tangible before and after picture or measurement. But this was my way of like saying, all right, I'm all in. I'm putting it out there. I'm letting people know this is the book I'm reading. I'm going to read one chapter every day. Like this was my way of having a day 1 and a day 15. So that was my turning point of my personal development journey, because I made that commitment and I made it public. I let people know I was doing it. And I've really stuck with it ever since, because I finally realized the difference. And I think it's a great analogy to compare it to a fitness journey, because I was able to read more and understand more and implement more the more that I read and the more that I stayed consistent with it. So as far as a course correction for you, if you are watching this call, think about your own personal development journey. Are you reading a book just because somebody posted it in the team page and said, this book changed my life? Or are you doing it like just to check a box? Or are you actually having a personal development journey? Are you actually growing? Are you implementing things that you're reading? Are you sharing the things that you're learning in your personal development, and sharing not just, hey, I read this awesome quote, but how does it apply? How can you help somebody else's day because of what you read? So that was definitely a big thing for me. Let's see. Okay, the next one, being proof the product works. And this is something, I posted a video about this actually last week. A lot of us, I think, are guilty here. While yes, maybe we're fit, and yes, we drink our shake every day, but a lot of us are program dabblers, and maybe it's been a long time before you've had a start and a finish of a program. Maybe you've had a lot of day ones, but not so many day 30s or day 60s or day 90s. So maybe you have a lot of starting measurements, but not a lot of ending measurements. So for me, I was, before I became a coach, I did P90X, and I followed the program, did the workouts as scheduled and all of that. Then once I became a coach, I became a dabbler. So I stopped following programs from start to finish because I started program hopping. Like once my eyes were opened to Beachbody's library of programs, I was like, oh, I want to try Asylum. Oh, I want to try Brazil butt lift. Oh, T25 is coming out. I'm going to do this one. So I was just jumping all around, and I never had a journey. I never had a start and a finish. So I especially noticed the gap in my progress shortly after I had Mikey. So that was in 2013. I was very motivated to lose the baby weight because I had Mikey in March of 2013, and then my very first coach summit was going to be in June of 2013. So I was very motivated to lose the baby weight because it was going to be my first time meeting everybody in Beachbody land in real life. So I did Les Mills pump, but then I just stopped staying consistent, and with trying to balance a new baby, I was just having a hard time. I was making a lot of excuses, and I was just waiting for the right time to work out. I'll work out once I put Mikey down for a nap. And then, if you're a new mom or just a mom in general, you know how that goes. Sometimes you're like, okay, great, I put him down for a nap, I'm going to have 3 hours to myself. And then 15 minutes later, they're already up. And you're like, well, that was the time I was going to do my workout. Or, there's so many different things that happen. And so what I decided to do was I did the Ultimate Reset, and it was definitely one of the hardest programs I've ever done, because you don't work out, and you're so it's so strict on what you're eating, and you have to follow it exactly. You have to cook so much. And at that time, Mike was not super involved with eating healthy and stuff like that. So I had to make all my Ultimate Reset meals for me, and then different stuff for him, and still trying to figure out the baby thing. But doing the Ultimate Reset for me, again, it gave me a journey to share with people, and it got me back on track. It was only 21 days. And at this time, we did not have 21-day fix. We only had 60 and 90-day programs. So having that day 1 to day 21, it was just a short period of time that gave me a win. It gave me that feeling of success that I started something and I completed something. I had a before and an after. And so, I documented my journey. This is just a screenshot of my Pinterest board from my Ultimate Reset journey. So, that's one of those things you really need to analyze. Are you on a fitness journey that's documentable? Are you having a start and a finish? Or are you just program hopping? Because there's definitely a difference. Oops, that's the same one. Okay. All right. The next one. This was in late fall of 2013. So at the start of 2013, I made the goal to be an elite coach that year. And being an elite coach meant at the time having 100 elite points at the end of the year and being a 5-star diamond. So at the start of 2013, I was a 2-star diamond. So I needed to get 3 more diamond coaches and I needed to get my 100 elite points for the year. So throughout that year, I was working towards getting those goals and a lot of them fell right into place. I think I got 3-star and 4-star pretty consecutive right after that. And then that 5th one came along right at the end of the year and it just wasn't happening. And I don't have any pictures of myself crying in frustration and like pulling my hair out, but that is basically what my life was like when I was trying to decide, am I going to keep pushing for this goal? And I just felt like, if my 5th diamond isn't going to happen on its own organically and just magically happen overnight, then I just don't deserve to be an elite coach. And I just don't deserve to succeed. And I just stopped believing in myself because it got hard. But that was one of those defining moments for me where just because something gets hard doesn't mean that you don't deserve it or that you didn't earn it. And I just really had to pick myself up off the floor and say, you are a great coach. You have helped so many people. You've inspired so many people to get started on their journey, whether it's fitness or business or whatever. You deserve to be recognized as an elite coach. You are a 5-star diamond. And once I kind of stopped being so negative to myself and telling myself, oh, I suck, I don't have what it takes, all those negative self-talk things that we do to ourselves, once I stopped doing that, then things finally started to align again. We had a call a few weeks back called having an expectant heart in your business. And it kind of goes back to a lot of those same principles that I spoke about in that call, where I was doing the work. I was putting my heart, my passion, my blood, sweat, and tears into what I was doing. So once I believed that I was doing the work and I deserved to earn that goal, then it kind of came more into place. So that was 2013 was the first year I was an elite coach. And it's crazy to look back at it because if you guys saw like how many elite coaches were in Bombshell Dynasty for 2015, it was like hundreds. And this was 2013 and that's all there was. And my picture is on there. And that means so much to me because I didn't give up on that. Also, I love this quote. The most important thing for success is self-belief and confidence. Believing you deserve it, believing you can do it, and you will get it. Okay, number 5. This was around December 2013. And I had attended my very first leadership event or leadership retreat event. And I had just about gotten to Success Club 5 All-Star Yeah, I was already a Success Club 5 All-Star, and I was on my way to being an elite coach. And I specifically remember asking this question to Scotty while sitting in a hot tub in California, saying, what do I need to do next? I'm already, like, by this time, I've already gone through all those other trials, all those other realizations that I needed to be committed to a PD journey, that I needed to be proof the product works, that I need to believe in myself. So I got all those things back on track. So I'm like, okay, now what? What's next? And that's when he said, you need to raise the bar. You need to be an SC10. And
Uh-huh.
that was definitely, well,
I
that
heard you're gonna
conversation
do something
happened
upstairs.
in September of 2013, but I didn't actually start hitting SC10 until January 2014. But December was the first month that I actually tried. And just kind of that theory of the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. And if I wanted my team to keep growing, I needed to raise the bar because, of course, there's people on our team that have outranked me or out-earned me or get more Success Club points than me. But it wasn't until I painted that vision for others, for people on our team, that, you know what, you can go above 5. You can go above 10. And now we've got people that are hitting 20 and 30 points even. So it had to start with me, and it had to start with my belief that I could do it and that I could inspire other people to want to do that. So that was definitely a big turning point where I was reluctant to want to take on that new goal because I was struggling at SC5. I was really struggling. I had lots of times, and you guys know this about me. It's always comes down to the last month for me, regardless of what goal I set for myself. So that's just how it goes in Jen's land. So I was scared to do it, but I did it. And now we have more people on our team that are hitting SC10 and above. And I definitely throw it back to this turning point in my business. And this is the last one. There came another point at a leadership retreat. So that's kind of a key word there. Definitely, if your goal is to continue to grow in this business and to be an elite coach, making the qualifications to be at the leadership retreat that they have in the fall is definitely a key event. It's definitely my all-time super best favorite of all Beachbody events. So anyways, I was having a conversation with Miguel Carrasco, and he is one of Lindsay Matway's personally sponsored coaches, and he is the top male coach in Canada. And I was talking to him about how I felt certain aspects of my business were getting a little stagnant. And I was specifically talking about income. And while I was, and I still am, making an income with Beachbody that far exceeds anything I thought possible for myself when I first started and my goal of getting my nails done. And it far exceeds anything I would have been able to make as a paralegal or even whatever career I was going to do with my master's degree. But one thing I've learned with this business is that you have to continue growing and raising the bar for yourself and going to the next thing, the next level. So I felt like my income wasn't growing like it had been in previous years. And Miguel told me, he said, well, when's the last personal development seminar that you've been to? And I said, I've never been to one. I've looked at some of those Tony Robbins one and, Shalene Smart Success that's out in California and whatever. And those are all like thousands of dollars to attend. And I just don't know if I trust myself to go and actually implement and get everything that I should get out of it. And he said, that's what's missing. And it was because I was willing to open up and share something that I felt was missing and talk openly to another leader in the business, that I was able to, maybe find a solution for what I was, looking for. So I know that I've read, I think it's a Jim Rohn quote, that you should be investing 10% of your income back into your own personal development. And some of us, who may also do like tithing and things like that, I've always learned that, like, if you want your income to be something, then tithe or give or invest 10% of what you want your income to be. So I was definitely guilty of not really investing in myself with what, doing that 10% match on what my income is. So that was when, I decided that we were going to do the GoPro Mastery in Vegas this year. So I'm really excited about that event. And I know that pretty much all the spots, I think, are taken. I think maybe there's a couple tickets left, but I'm pretty sure the house is fully booked. So I am really excited about that, and it will be my first, seminar investment type thing, and I'm excited to be able to share this experience with a lot of you guys that are part of our team. So that was definitely a turning point and a mental change for me. And I've also done a couple other things that are more online. I haven't done Tony Robbins or anything like that just yet, although Tony Robbins is going to be at GoPro. So anyways, I think that was all I had. Okay. So did you guys have any questions or comments on any of those things, or did you have anything that maybe, you wanted to get feedback on in your own business? That would be something you could answer in a couple minutes on a call. Okay. Well, thank you guys.
Well, I'll say something because I always have something to say. So what did you do as far as going from SC5 to SC10? What did you do differently other than obviously changing your mindset about it? How were you proactive on doing that?
I would put it back to two things. The first one is definitely a mindset. I think because I'm such a last minute person, regardless of what it is, it doesn't matter if I know that I'm going on a trip, I'm not going to pack until 5 minutes before the deadline. That's just how I am about everything. And so once I know what it is, it's just, I'll make it happen, but I just won't do it until the end. So it was definitely a mind shift thing. And then the second thing is, okay, so you guys, when you hit Success Club, and let's say your goal is SC5, so you sold your third challenge pack that month, and you have that sigh of relief. You're like, oh, thank God, I can move on. I stopped doing that because what I was doing is I would hit Success Club, I'd get my 3 new people that month, and then I would be like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about it until next month. Now I keep on going. Even after SC10, I keep on going. I keep on inviting, I keep on talking to people, I keep on following up as if I haven't hit Success Club. And I think that's probably the biggest change, because it's still my natural reaction to want to just stop because it's stressful. It's that one monthly goal that we have, and it is such a nice sigh of relief once you hit it, but you've got to keep going. You've got to keep planting those seeds. And that was definitely probably the biggest thing I changed.
I have a question.
Okay.
When you decided to start getting Success Club 10 all the time, were you still in school or still working your paralegal job?
No.
Okay.
I know Scotty Hobbs was working a full-time job when he would hit Success Club every single month, SC10 at that. So don't let that hold you back from trying to hit it, because it is possible. I mean, it's hard not to think of it as impossible, but it is possible because people have done it.
Mhm.
So if that's what your goal is, just go for it. You know, it's not like no one's ever done it before. It's quite attainable, but you know, don't let your school and don't let that be your security blanket. You know, like I think that sometimes I have this security blanket of, you know, well, you know, and I can hide behind it, but you know, sometimes you just gotta let go and just go for it. If that's what you want, go for it. The only one who's holding you back is yourself. And I have to tell myself that every day too.
Yeah, very true. And I think the other thing, and it just made me think of it when Sarah was talking, when Scotty signed up, Lindsay told him that he needed to get SC10 every month. So in his mind, there was no SC5. Like SC5 doesn't exist. It's just SC10. So that's, I think, another thing that you can do, you know, if that's a goal that you want to make for yourself, is like, what's SC5? That's not even a thing. So you would just keep on going for SC10 because that's what the goal is.
I have a question.
Both are great goals, though. Yeah, go ahead.
So you said you didn't even start hitting like SC10 until 2014, but you said you were a 5-star diamond by the end of 2013. Right? How did you get that far without hitting SC10 consistently? Because that's kind of been my mindset, was that level of success will come when I start reaching more people. But how did you develop all of those diamonds below you without ever hitting SC10, like as a, you know, an SC10 like all-star before you had hit your 5-star diamond? It just seems kind of out of sync with what I've been told or heard before. So what did you do to get those people how did you find those like business builders before having all of that access to other people, before you hit all those SC points?
Gosh, that's $1 million question. I wish I had like a really good answer, but my ratios were different than what a lot of people have. And like, to be a 5-star, you have to have 20 personally sponsored coaches. And of those 20 personally sponsored coaches, you have to have 3 diamonds on one leg and 2 diamonds on the other. So most people, like, you know, if you're signing a lot of discount coaches and stuff, the 20 personally sponsored coaches is probably the least of your worries. It's the 5 diamonds. It was the opposite for me. I had my 5 diamonds and I didn't have the 20 personally sponsored coaches. And that is a really great ratio to have 5 diamonds out of 20 coaches. So it just, I think for me, I had such a big why in the beginning. I mean, I still do, but in the beginning when I was going for that goal, it was because I wanted to leave my job. I was pregnant with Mikey. I had that end date in mind of leaving on my maternity leave and never going back to my job. So I knew that to have a 6-figure income, the best steps to get there was to be an elite coach. So that's what I shot for. And that was the answer to that was the solution to my problems. So that's just what I aimed for and went for every day. I didn't sleep a lot during that time of my life because I was working towards those goals. I was, but I guess on the same hand, you know, I did have some coaches that ran with this opportunity right off the bat. My 5 from that point was Nicole Murray was my first one. Then Jenna DeStefano was my second one. Sandy Tachi was my third one. Sarah Lutz was my fourth one. And Tia Champagne was my fifth. So they were all just really strong, driven, motivated people that saw the vision of what I wanted to do and accomplish with this business. They had the same drive, and it never felt like I was their coach. It was like we were 5 people running this race together. And while sometimes I don't feel like I've ever recreated that same amount of momentum in that same fashion since then. So I don't know if it was like that newness for me, that newbie excitement perhaps, and having that deadline. Like I told you guys, things come down to the deadline for me. So, obviously being pregnant is quite a deadline. So, so that was what it took for me.
Okay, that is very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, all right. Well, that was a good question, but I wish I had a better answer. But it's
awesome that you had that all at once, because it seems like that's pretty uncommon. A lot of people, I guess maybe it's just the newness and the why factor aren't as strong in the beginning. And I think that's the harder thing to do, is be willing to put that out there and happen to click with the right people at the right time. It's a little more tricky than we want it to be. I want it to be easy. I want it to be obviously this is awesome. You should do this too. And a lot of people are like, yeah, that's great. I'm going to go back to work every day and hate it. And I'm like, what don't you get? So sometimes it's hard for me to communicate that, I guess, and finding people you can communicate it to the right way is awesome. So.
Yes, I agree. I think, it was a fun time. I hated my job so much. I hated being there. So I worked a lot at my job. And I know that's something, some people don't have that luxury. If you do work at a day job and you have responsibilities and you can't be on Facebook and doing stuff all day. I shouldn't have, but I did. So I was working my business a lot of hours during the day on top of that. So, but all right, guys. Well, we have a guest speaker for next week, and I am super excited. But Cher Nath, she is one of my diamond coaches. She's going to be on the call next week, and she's going to be sharing a little bit about social media and some branding type stuff. We don't have an official title yet, but she is an amazing coach. She just went 3-star qualifying last week, so she's got some great stride going in her business right now, and I think she has a lot that she can teach and inspire our team with. So definitely make sure that you are on next week for that. And other than that, we've got, 2 hours and 20 minutes to go. So let's go ahead and get off of here. And who's still pushing for us for Success Club points tonight?
I am.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll be right there with you guys. So, all right. Good night.